morning, YouTubers. My name is again Brian, and I'm here to talk about 3 things that I think would be good in business. And this came about because this morning I was reading about some articles on great business ideas. And based on experience and based on the books that I've read, based on the people that I've met, based on their experiences and whatnot, I think there are 3 major things that you can consider when it comes to business ideas, or 3 main things. Like, first and foremost, something called, of course, real estate. Okay. Now, why real estate? Now, real estate is basically a basic needs. Housing is a basic needs of any individual, and the population isn't exactly becoming smaller, but the land mass isn't, getting bigger unless they start reclaiming lands, which is very, very expensive, by the way. So things are, people are becoming more. Your population is exploding, but your land area isn't exactly growing alongside with that population growth. So real estate is something that is going to be of very, very very expensive at some point, and everyone needs it. You need a house, you need an apartment, you need a condominium, depends on your budget, but definitely that's gonna be the number one. Now, based on experience, this is something that I've started venturing in, because here in Angeles, the real estate prices is starting to get a little bit expensive than usual. People are starting to realize that Clark is going to be fully developed soon, and with the airport becoming really, really progressive now, many more flights are coming in and out of Clark, and so business will definitely boom at some point. So alongside with that, when you have business, when you have these people coming in and out of your place or of your city, then obviously they're gonna need a place to stay in. All right, so real estate is something that I personally have already ventured into. Now, the pros and cons of it, well, of course, it's very expensive. Well, for some maybe it's not, but for majority of us who's just a regular wage earner, then investing in real estate is something of really well, it's really a bit gonna be expensive. All right. But nevertheless, don't let that stop you. I didn't let that stop me. I didn't let that stop me from venturing into this. You can loan it. Like, for example, Pag-ibig, if you've already successfully completed at least 24 months of, I believe, successful contribution, it will entitle you to at least 2 million, or nowadays I think they've already increased it to 2 million, but rough approximate is somewhere around 2 million. And for a good 2 million loan, you can extend it up to 30 years, as long as your age is somewhere between 35 up to maximum of 35 only, because I think the maturity is somewhere around 65. So if you're somewhere between 18 to 35, this would be a perfect timing for you to start investing in real estate, and consider Pag-ibig as one of the loaning institutions that you can avail of, so that at least you will be able to avail of the 30 years. Yes, monthly amortization will be there, but think about it. You buy a house, somebody else pays for the monthly amortization. After some time, once you'll be able to save up some money, deposit or pay off the remaining loan, and then that will make the term shorter. By the time that it's you get finished paying it, at least it's gonna be yours, and you really don't have to worry about then it's gonna be gravy. Once it's paid off, every month you just need to wait 15 or 30 or 30th, whatever the time of the deadline is, and then you get your money. So it's a good investment. Real estate is definitely a good investment. I got friends on board, and also land-based. My previous boss, he invested in condominiums in Manila. He's making a lot of money, so he can actually shell out extra 25,000, I guess, for the monthly amortization of his condominium in Manila. Now he's moved back to Manila, as far as I know. So while he was working here in Pampanga, he had someone renting it. And the beauty about real estate is that there are so many options that you can explore. You can have it rented monthly. If it's furnished, you can even have it rented through what do you call that? Rented online, the one wherein They just rent it daily. I forgot the term that it's used, but basically they rent it out for you for like a daily basis or something. Number two is education. Why education? Well, learning never stops, really. There's always money that you can, or there's always possible investment that you can earn from education. You can be a consultant. You can teach someone how to play a guitar. You can teach someone how to write. If you're good, you must be a master of something, or you must be good at something. So you can impart this knowledge, and you can have them pay you. You know, some of my friends are consultants, and then some are part-time teachers, tutor. You know, here in Angeles, especially here in Koreatown, what happens is that Korean nationals flock our city, and then they come here to learn English. And majority of us Filipinos are very good in English, so they use this skill to teach Koreans how to speak English. And the Koreans have the money to pay, and it's not that expensive actually. They get to save more money learning English here than staying in their home country and learning it from other people, or from their fellow Koreans, or I guess from that country. So learning English, tutoring is also something. So this has something to do with education. You know, if you have more money, perhaps learning institutions such as Kumon, you know, those learning centers. If you can play a particular musical instrument, you can open up a center. Even just in your house. I mean, you can set up your living room to be a learning area, you know? So be creative. Don't just limit yourself to the four corners of the office. And business wise, you can make a business out of what you know. You don't necessarily have to be a product, but it could be a service, like that one, tutoring services, right? So there you go. The second thing that I can think of when it comes to business is education. And third, and this is the last one that I can think of, which is for me one of those sure businesses that will never stop. It will never stop. It will never fade. You know, healthcare. Okay, why healthcare? Well, everybody gets sick from time to time. Everybody gets medical requirements when they apply for a job, right? So why not set up, let's say, a clinic or a diagnostic center? You know, these centers are, you know, they just take your blood, they take your urine, they take your stool, they test it and see, and then they take your x-ray and all of that, all of which are required for when you're applying for a position or when you're applying for a company, right? So these documentations and these things will never go away, because it's part of the requirements when you're applying for a job. Another thing is, if nursing is a very, very lucrative business. People in the States are paying premium for nurses, and it's related to healthcare. Now, what if, Brian, I'm not really a board passer? You know, I took up nursing, but I'm not really a board passer yet. Well, there's still fields for you to explore. Like, for example, nurse aid. You can then also learn being a caregiver, which is a short course. It'll accelerate you right away because you already finished nursing, so it's gonna be a little easier for you. But bottom line here is that the idea is you explore a business that revolves around healthcare, and this is something that I'd like to advise you guys to do. You know, you can explore it. All right. So those are my top 3 suggestions when it comes to business ideas. I may not be an expert when it comes to this, but I know people who have been successful at it. I've read books proving otherwise, that these things will have very, very minimal, not very minimal change, advancement, a lot of advancement. But when it comes to, you know, changing the paradigm when it comes to real estate, that's still going to be a basic needs of a man. Education is going to be always there. You're going to have to, learning is a continuous process, and the only time you'll stop learning is when you die. and healthcare, the human anatomy is never going to change unless some some mutation happens, but I don't foresee that happening anytime soon. So those are things that you can explore definitely when it comes to business. And I hope I was able to share some good ideas, or at least for you guys to contemplate on topics that I have mentioned today. So I guess that's it for me today. Thanks again for listening. My name is Brian, and I hope to see you guys again. See you soon. Bye bye.